Hey love bug, it's me, Emma Upton, clarity wizard, resistance whisperer and professional fog lifter, and in plain English, I help high achieving women stop circling, name the exact work you came here to do and build the real thing, using the math and the magic of your work without needing to burn your life right now down. We're not chasing productivity, we're not overthinking, and we're definitely not into positive thinking. We're remembering what it feels like to have fun and making magic into a really real, tangible map. So if you're waking up, if you're finally ready to create that next level of podcast, that book, that business, that beautiful wild thing that doesn't fit the mold that you've already made, but it will not leave you alone, you're in the right place. Welcome to Let's Build the Real Thing, the math and the magic of your work. Let's figure out what's really been in the way. Let's build the real thing. Welcome home. Welcome to your real thing. Do you find yourself forcing the thing? Do you want the plan before you'll do the thing? Do you expect everything to be laid out for you so that it makes sense before you are willing to step through to it? If you do, you are a regular human. Good news. I do not know one person that says, you know what, I'm really psyched by the fact that I have to pour all of this time, money, and energy into this thing without being able to truly see the absolute end point of it. The most, even when I'm working from this deeper place that I'm committed to taking us all into, to allow your map to flow to the tippity top of your brain, and then you can just tie a bow around it and be like, this out into the world. I'm dedicated to that. Even through that dedication, my brain is still very loud. My overthinking, that tendency to lean towards people pleasing and anxiety is still very much alive. It wants the plan. It wants the strategy. I am with a group of people saying, I do not want to surrender. I don't want to know what's at the end of, at the end of the rainbow. Don't worry about it. I'll just keep trudging. I'll just keep going and just trust. If you find yourself in that place where you are trudging along and you're continuing to go because you know you're here for more, and you're cycling through the burnout phases and you're thinking, I'm just going to be willing to keep going. If you can feel yourself entering into that cycle and it feels like you have to keep reconnecting and reattuning yourself to your work and your promise and all of those things, you are operating out of the push cycle, the push system, which is what we are all taught. I was a primary school teacher for 12 years. I was teaching this, and I hate the fact we are taught this from being teeny tiny. They put me right down in nursery before I left entirely when I was building my work up, and my head teacher didn't want to lose me. It was like, what about the babies? Try them. Like, it's the same thing. We're doing it right from the get-go with our teeny tiny babies. We are forcing results. We are acting like everything is known. We are acting like everything falls within this tangible scripture that you can strategize it out, that you can put it into a spreadsheet, or you can do it. And that if you just follow that well enough, then you'll get the prize that you go to bed dreaming about, you wake up thinking about, and it's not just the thing, is it? As I'm saying, it's the feeling underneath, because for so many people in my world, they have all of the tangibles. They have so much to feel grateful for. They're doing incredible things, and yet it still doesn't feel like enough. And the reason why is because that push, that strategy, that trudging along and falling off because of burnout, and then needing to reconnect back to the trudge and hope that you're going to get to the end of the rainbow, maybe, if you're good enough and you follow the strategy for long enough and you figure it out within an inch of its life, then maybe it will all come together. I had to do that for a long ass time to realize that wasn't the case. My body literally broke down and stopped working for me to need to realize that wasn't the plan for me. That wasn't how it's meant to go, in spite of all the cool results that I got. I'm working on Find the Thing and Make It Real at the moment. It's the most glorious experience made up of quizzes and flows and meditations that take you into portals to bring you to the space where you're able to answer the questions about your thing, about your work, but you're not getting this just top level, conscious mind, strategy. Like, I think it's this. Maybe I should choose that, because if you continue to just pluck those things out of the air, you're going to end up trudging back in burnout, falling off, feeling like, why doesn't it matter what I achieve in the external? It never feels like enough. If you can see yourself operating from that space, sorry, as I'm saying about it, I go into the spaces like, hang on, I was telling you about finding the thing and make it real, wasn't it? The portals, and I'm in the portal. It's so good. It's so good. It's such an experience. Being able to make you through little videos that aren't more than 15 minutes, little drops that take you through, being like, this is what your brain's going to do. Find the Thing is literally dedicated entirely to seeing when you slip out and you go back into the strategy. When you slip out of flow, which I take you into portal after portal, piece after piece, quiz after quiz, I take you into that space, you experience it, and everything inside you goes, this is it, because you were born to operate from that space. Your work was made to operate out of that space, but you forgot. So I remind you, piece after piece, little bite-sized, not overwhelming. You have too much to do in your life than to be having 90-minute calls to sit on and come to on live. No, little snippets and juiciness and let me go away, and I can do that in my actual life because I'm a living, breathing human being with a lot of stuff to do. And every time you move out of that flow space, that's your second operating system, the one that holds all the pieces to every puzzle that you could possibly be considering. When you slip out of that and you come back to the questions of, yeah, well, what's next? Yeah, well, what's the strategy? Yeah, well, what am I here for? Then we notice the resistance dragon. We look what the resistance dragon is. We look what it's blocking, what it's so terrified of you actually seeing. And in that seeing, it steps out of the way, it dissolves, and the clarity comes from that depth, from that flow, from that trust, from that intuition, from that feminine state that most of us have forgotten entirely how to operate out of. Suddenly, you know the strategy. You're not asking anybody else. You're not saying, should I do this? Or you're like, oh my God, Emma, let me bring this to you. What do we do with this? Because this is it. And then we take that strategy and we apply it. We look where it needs to go and what it needs to look like and how it needs to develop and how it wants to breathe and how it wants to live because your work is simple. And the process of accessing it is not simple, because you have to be willing to see the resistance and see what's underneath it. That process isn't simple, but that's what you were born to do. You were born to breathe. You were born to grow. You were born to blink, for your heart to beat, for your lungs to fill. You were born to just do all of these things without ever thinking about it. Your work is exactly the same, but we've got it confused. All of a sudden, when you do the non-simple things of moving these resistances out the way and allowing them to dissolve, suddenly all that's left is the idea, is the next step, is your work. So the non-simple thing, we all think we need to work really hard, and it's not simple to find the thing that makes you unique and find your voice that makes you unique, find everything that makes you and your work unique, and it's going to be the best thing that anybody's ever experienced in their life. We think that's the non-simple bit that we need to work hard at, but it's not. That bit's the easy bit, but you only get granted access to it when you're willing to do the non-simple thing of seeing the dragon. I call it the dragon called resistance. That's what we do in Find the Thing. Seeing where that just keeps bobbing in the path, getting in the way, addressing it in all the most glorious ways so it dissolves. Then your work comes to the forefront. Can you see how we've got it the opposite way around? And that's probably why it all feels, I know for me, why it felt so confusing. I'd be showing up to courses and classes once I'd had this awakening, once I realized being a schools teacher wasn't it, after I'd built meditation huts and all sorts within the school. I was like, oh, I still can't actually do my work. Once I'd had that awakening, being like, I'm here for more, there's something deeper in this. I tried to go at it like everybody else, like everything else, and force it into fruition. Maybe if I just work hard enough, maybe if I think about it hard enough, maybe if I spend enough money on the best coaches and the best courses, and I go away for weekends and I spend time with Tony Robbins and I do all of these things to get the strategy. Nope. It's so annoying. Now I have orchestrated and built the strategy that your brain will happily follow because it loves a plan, it loves a strategy, it loves a formula, but not to bring your work into the forefront, to move those dragons out of the way so your work can surface. And of course, at the same time, because you wouldn't be human, we're going to be building the thing. We make it real. At the end of this process, we make it real. So of course, I'm going to be asking you the tangible things like, what does it feel like? Go into this meditation and ask these questions around what it feels like. How do we make it real? That we do it in the duality of it. So we keep the brain sweet. We keep the operating system of push busy and sweet, doing all of its nonsense that, if I'm being brutally honest, saying it this brutally, is kind of irrelevant a lot of the time. The amount of stuff that I still do now when I've got a plan, when I've got a download, I've got an idea and I'm like, I'm going to make this happen right now. And I just force it. And I catch myself quicker now, most of the time, not always. Being like, oh, most of that was a waste of my time and energy. How annoying. If I'd have just looked at the resistance that is in the way and worked on that, this idea would have been really clear, way sooner, really obvious, way sooner. But welcome to being human. We're not mad about it. We take the golden thread however we get it. And there are different things that we do for different resistances that come up to allow them to step out the way, to allow us to get the thread and allow us to take it then through to the loom room. And that is when we make it real. We weave this goldenness that we bring through our lives together rather than seeing them all as things that need to be strategized and overcome and fixed and the secrets stolen and learned and all the ways of operating that the brain wants. The way it actually works is that work comes through and then the brain just ties it into a nice, neat structure and bow on the top. It's just the cherry on the top. It is absolutely essential. So it's more than a cherry, isn't it? It's the structure of it. It is absolutely essential. It is just as essential. I hope this isn't confusing everything I've just said. It is just as equally as essential as all of the resistance work and clearing those blockers and those dragons out of the way so that the work can come through. But it is at the end. It is not at the start, and we want to make the start about it, don't we? So if it feels like your work is like, you know, those god awful poos, and I can't even believe I'm saying this. But this is so like, have you ever had a poo that just, you were so dehydrated that it just got so stuck, it felt like a tennis ball in your bum and you were like, I don't know how this is ever going to come out of me. That's what it feels like when you've got this big thing that is undeniable. It's absolutely there. You don't know how the hell it got there, but it is, and it wants to come out of you. And using your brain, using that push alone, it just feels like you're just constantly pushing and pushing and pushing. But actually what you need to do is you need to go lie down. You need to go and give your gut a massage. You need to go and hydrate your ass, not your actual ass, yourself. You need to go and hydrate yourself with water. Go and get some herbs. It's the only time I've ever taken laxatives, and it was a herbal laxative, and it helped. Like going and creating a foundation so that that thing can pass, but it's not a poo, it's your actual work. I don't know if that metaphor helps. If it feels like something is trying to be birthed, this could be the answer that you're looking for. If this sounds like holy moly, that sounds like everything that I'm experiencing. I've created so much gold in my world, but it never feels like enough. It always feels like I'm missing something underneath. It always feels like there is something that wants to come through. I don't have enough time to dedicate to it fully. I have this and that and all these plates spinning, but I know I'm being called to it, Emma. Yes, I am doing, and it's only for 48 hours. So I'm saying that this is going to live on my podcast for forever. So I might be doing something glorious as well at a different point. So if this hits and resonates, I'm going to be doing this work until the day I die. So come onto me at Instagram. And if you don't know my Instagram, it's More Than This by Emma Upton. Come and just drop me a message and be like, Emma, what you're talking about sounds like truth. I have a big poop and it's stuck and I don't know how to get it out of me. And I know it wants out. It needs to be birthed into this world. I could have used a baby. That's a way nicer metaphor, isn't it? Because that's a beautiful thing. Welcome to my brain. If you're thinking yes, then come and message me on my Instagram. And if you're listening to this within the 48-hour windows, I am creating a 90-minute experience where I'm going to walk you through a turbocharged version of the Find the Thing and Make It Real whole experience. And you're gonna get every part of anything that you need that is part of the whole experience right there, right then. And I'm going to put it in a 5-step plan for you. So you're going to walk away from having 90 minutes together with a fully fledged map of the next 5 steps to find the thing and absolutely make it real. So if that sounds like your jam on toast, you listen to this episode on purpose, and I'm so glad you did. Come and message me and let's chat about what that could look like. I cannot wait. Thank you for being here. I hope it's been super helpful. I will see you soon. Much love. All right, love bugs, that's us for today. If your brain is sparkling and your soul's going, holy shizballs, this is it. First of all, saying. And second, please know this. You're not circling for no reason. Your work is very freaking real and it's not going anywhere. It's here because you're here for more. If this landed in all the god-awfully brilliant ways that it was meant to, come and tell me over on Instagram. These are my favorite places and best kind of conversations. And if you've got a friend whose brain is as wonderfully wild as yours and mine, send this their way. We need their magic in the world just as much as the world needs ours. So that's it for today. Go take the teeniest step towards the real thing, your thing. And remember, clarity around your map and magic is never found. It's remembered. This has been me and you together making the real thing. I cannot wait to talk soon. Much love.